This is Aminta, and you are listening to the Community Partners for Healthy Streams podcast. Here we feature a new topic every month on different ways you can help prevent water pollution and conserve water at work. For today's episode, before I introduce the topic, I want us to go back in time and recount a moment in history. Not too long ago in Louisville, Kentucky, in the early morning on February 13th, 1981, more than 3 miles of sewer lines exploded, collapsing streets, buildings, and storefronts. 4 people were injured, and miraculously, no one was killed. And officials later determined that the cause of the explosions was due to spillage of 18,000 gallons of hexane into the sewer system from a local soybean processing plant. Years after, residents would ask each other, "Where were you when the sewers blew?" It was a milestone event in the city's collective memory, and it was also an event that could have been prevented proactively from occurring. That historical moment really captures the importance of pretreatment, our topic for today. Cobb Water is a publicly owned treatment works, referred to as a POTW in the pretreatment community. Cobb Water collects and treats wastewater from domestic and non-domestic or industrial sources. And housed within Cobb County Water System is our local industrial pretreatment program, whose daily operations help protect the collection and treatment systems, and by doing so, help to reduce pollutants from entering our waterways. What I wanted to explore with you listeners was this. What is pretreatment? Why is it important, and how might it apply? To do that, I'd like to introduce to you our guest expert for today, Travis Neumuller, the Industrial Pretreatment Supervisor here at Cobb County Water System's Office of Environmental Compliance. Thank you, Travis, for coming on board to share your expertise, and welcome.
Thanks for having me, Aminta.
I want us to start by demystifying pretreatment. What is pretreatment in the context of our local wastewater treatment facilities?
Cobb County Water System has 4 wastewater reclamation facilities, which treat wastewater collected throughout Cobb County before it's then returned to our water sources. Wastewater reclamation facilities are generally designed to treat typical household or domestic wastewater. They are not specifically designed to treat most industrial or non-domestic wastewater, which have non-conventional pollutants and domestic pollutants that are discharged in high volumes and or high concentrations. The pollutants in industrial discharges can interfere or pass through the collection system or wastewater treatment facilities, potentially entering the environment, which can impact our water quality. Not only does pretreatment deal with normal industrial discharges, pretreatment also handles spills and slugs of pollutants that get sent to the sewer system. As you noted in your intro, those effects can be prevented by using pretreatment techniques and best management practices to reduce the discharge of these types of pollutants. Pretreatment gets its name from the act of treating non-domestic wastewater before it's discharged to the collection system and wastewater reclamation facility.
In a nutshell, can you explain the key purpose of the pretreatment program?
Sure. Pretreatment program aims to prevent or control the introduction of pollutants into the POTW that would negatively impact the collection system or treatment facilities, protect those that work in maintaining the collection system and operate the treatment facilities, and to protect the public and the environment. Pretreatment program is a proactive program to eliminate and control potential risks to the POTW. This encompasses things like having restaurants install grease traps, having spill containment for chemical storage, installing equipment to pretreat wastewater before it's discharged, or encouraging the use of chemicals that are less harmful to the POTW or the environment. Cobb County's pretreatment program is part of the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES. This program was started by the Clean Water Act passed in 1972 to control the pollutant discharges into the environment. EPA was charged with implementing the NPDES program. In order to more effectively implement the program, EPA has delegated the authority to implement the pretreatment program to most states. In turn, since each POTW is different, the state can delegate the authority to implement the pretreatment program to local POTWs. Local POTWs only have control over industries that discharge to the POTW, also known as indirect dischargers. Industries that discharge directly to the environment, also known as direct dischargers, are controlled by either the individual state if it's delegated by EPA or EPA themselves. Cobb County Water System's pretreatment program was approved to implement the pretreatment program for Cobb County by Georgia EPD in 1985.
What's that look like on a day-to-day basis?
In order to achieve the pretreatment program's objectives, we're tasked with finding the industries that may need to be controlled. We issue discharge permits to control industrial discharges. We receive and process reports from various industries. We inspect industries and monitor their discharges to determine and or verify their compliance with federal, state, and local regulations.
What types of industries do we have here in Cobb County Water System that fall under industrial pretreatment?
Well, there's two types of discharges to the sewer, a domestic, so like your house, and non-domestic or industrial discharges. The pretreatment program only applies to industrial discharges. We refer to them as industrial users or IUs. IUs can be any business that discharges more than domestic wastewater. This includes things like restaurants, dentists' offices, chemical plants, bakeries, and many other businesses. We don't permit all of them. There are specific criteria that we have to use to determine which IUs need to be permitted. Some of the types of industries that we have here in Cobb County that are permitted include metal finishing, so things like electroplating, anodizing, or roll coating. We also have various food processing industries, including commercial bakeries, beverage manufacturers, and some others. Industrial laundries that serve things like uniforms, hospitals, and the hospitality sector, so like hotels and restaurants. Chemical manufacturing, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and printing.
Are there any national standards that apply across the board?
Yes. In addition to federal standards that apply to specific industrial sectors, there are general and specific prohibitions that apply to all industrial users. These prohibitions are in place to keep things from being discharged or conditions created that could negatively impact the POTW. Some examples include pollutants that can create fire explosion hazards, like the example you gave in the introduction, pollutants that are corrosive, anything that might cause an obstruction in the collection systems, fats, oils, and greases, for example, and pollutants that could interfere or pass through the wastewater collection system or treatment operations. In reality, these prohibitions are applicable to anyone discharging the sewer system, but the pretreatment program only has authority over the industrial users.
If our listeners want to learn more about pretreatment, where can they go?
They can visit the Cobb Water website at www.cobbwater.org to learn more about our local pretreatment program. And under that, you would look under compliance and industrial pretreatment. If they want to learn more about pretreatment overall, I'd recommend visiting the EPA's website on the topic at www.epa.gov/NPDES.
Thank you so much, Travis, for your advice and your expertise. And listeners, we'll see you all next month, same day, same time, with a new topic. Bye-bye! The intro and outro music titled Easy Living is by Agnes Valmagia under the Creative Commons 4 license. To visit online, go to filmmusic.io/song/6832-easy-living, and for the license, go to creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0.